Good morning, guys. Raptor Freak, Alexi Odds here. Thursday morning after a great game last night against the Memphis Grizzlies. The fifth game of our six-game road trip. We have one more game. It's tomorrow in Indiana. And really great win last night. All kinds of different ways. It was a great night for the Raptors. We had Yuta come back. We had Precious get a homecoming in Memphis where he played collegiate ball. And we won. We looked really bad in the first half, and we overcame a lot of stuff in the second half and ended up winning, which was amazing, honestly, because we let them score 71 points by halftime, and that's really bad. Like, I was getting pissed off because I could see this was not going to be a good thing if we let them have 71 points in the first half. I was really worried about the second half. And I just love that they went in halftime and they made adjustments. They talked it out. They figured out some stuff, and they found success in the second half, which we totally needed. Oh my gosh, we needed to win this game. And it was the kind of game too that near the end, Ja Morant and Jackson and Bane and all those guys on the Grizzlies, they could have easily tried to surge up and tried to win this game against us. But we held them down, and we were the veteran team that showed poise and leadership in the end to overtake them, keep the cushion, and close out the win. And, the other teams in the West have had trouble closing out Memphis. They've come back from double-digit leads and ended up winning games that they weren't supposed to win at the last second by a few points. And that's against quality teams, too, like beating teams, like I said, like the Clippers and the Nuggets. And they're one of the two teams that has beaten Golden State. So in some ways, I feel like we beat Golden State last night. I know that's no, we did not. But anyway, guys, glad to see you guys this morning. Precious, yes, Precious had a great game last night. He did something last night that I've been crying out for him to do this whole season, and that's take that open three. And boy, did he. This is the thing. Precious has emotional connections to that building because that's literally the building that he played his college career in. That's the home building for the Memphis University team that Penny Hardaway coaches. And so he's familiar with the dimensions of that court and that building and how it feels in there. So it's a very comfortable place for him. And it looked real comfortable for him in the third quarter. I mean, he scored 17 points. He pretty much scored all of his points in that quarter, and he was a huge part of what keyed us to turn this game around and come back and win. But, I think the guy that came back last night and hadn't played yet this season, Yuta Watanabe, was another key player in the game last night. Just if anything, we at times start slacking with our energy on the court. The players dog it a little bit. They maybe take a little bit off. But when Yuta comes back in there or he comes in the game, he sets a standard. He sets an example. He sets an energy out there that is fantastic. And if we need that little stick of dynamite from him coming off the bench where it's going to be like he's going to hustle. He's going to go after offensive rebounds. He's going to try and get steals. He's going to go and get the loose balls when they're loose. He's going to do all those kind of things. We need that because he inspires other guys on the team at the same time to get that kind of energy in themselves. And this team is all about that. So it's almost like he's a piece of flint that's used to chip and get the spark going. And I love that. I love that about Yuta. I'm so happy for him that he came back. He came back in Memphis, and he had a pretty good game. He missed his shots, but you know what? Those two blocks alone, oh my gosh. And especially really glad that Nick Nurse challenged that play, and they went and got him a block instead of a foul on that play with Brooks. And let me talk about Brooks, man. Brooks is a punk. He's another one of these Canadian guys that goes and plays for American teams, and he wants to kill the Toronto Raptors for some reason. And the way he was being mocking Pascal Siakam was wrong. He's a jerk, man. I don't like Dylan Brooks. To me, he's like Danny Green's evil twin. And, he's kind of an asshole, man. Like, I'm so glad we beat them. I really think that was a catalyst also, that when he started mocking Pascal for making noise, that's when we started kicking some ass. because and it was funny too, because after the game they asked Gary Trent if he has something personal against Dylan Brooks, and there's like a personal thing going on. He's like, no, there's no personal thing. They're very smart about this because there isn't any personal thing. That guy was just being a jackass and being kind of arrogant and carrying himself real cocky. Well, you lost, man, Dylan Brooks. And I can't stand that dude now after the game last night. He's on my list of Canadians that I've disowned because of how they played against the Raptors. He joins Kelly Olynyk and Tristan Thompson on that list. All right, let's keep going. Brian, Andrew, let's go! Happy Thanksgiving to American Thanksgiving celebrators. You know, it's a weird holiday. It is what it is. But I know a lot of people have the day off. They're going to enjoy themselves, eat some good food, spend time with their family. That's great. It's great to spend time with your family. That's the most important thing about Thanksgiving, honestly. All right, G, let's see what's up with what you guys are saying this morning. G, they played more fluid second half. Credit to Pascal for not forcing it and letting the hot hand shoot. It's weird because I thought Pascal really struggled at times last night. He didn't really show up in the first half. But then later, he ended up getting 17 points. There were 3 of them that got 17 points last night. And I love that balance. And he kind of on the slide got points here and there when it mattered. He didn't shoot as well as the other guys. But you know what? Pascal did what he needed to do. And you're exactly right, G. He didn't try to force things. And he let Gary kind of take over the game. Like, Gary really was the one who carried us in the fourth quarter. Fred was steady with distributing the ball and being really smart with controlling the game. That on the down low had a lot to do with it also. But it was really Gary keeping us going offensively. And, Scotty had really good energy in the second half also. And, there's something about happened to Scotty last night. And this is going to be ref manipulation for this game because there was some ref manipulation last night, but thankfully it didn't matter. But they shaved a point off us last night, guys. They stole a point from us. It was Memphis timekeepers or scorekeepers. They did not give Scotty one of his threes. He had, of course, that awesome half-court shot at the end of the first quarter. That's a 3. And then he had one where he took it at the top of the key, and they said it was a 24-footer on the game log. I went and looked on the game log and said 24-footer made by Scotty Barnes. Well, a 24-footer is a three-pointer. And his foot, I don't know if it was on the line or something. If you guys saw it, I wasn't listening to the commentators. I turned the volume down because they were annoying me. But if you know the play I'm talking about, guys that are listening to me right now, did he have his foot on the line or not? Because to me, it looked like he had a clean 3 on that one he stepped into at the top of the key after the half-court shot he made. So he should have had 2 3-pointers last night. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, it should be 45 on the score. It shouldn't be 44. It's like, or no, it was 40. It should have been 40. They scored it as 39, only gave him 2 points. So I'm wondering, did they take a point away from Scotty last night on a 3 that he had at the top of the key that looked really, really kind of weird to me. Okay, Andrew's saying his toe was on the line. He tried tucking it in, but it was over the line, I think. See, it looked really close to me. And to me, without having the sound up, I thought that they just like they've done this dirty shit to us before. With the scorekeepers have marked us for 2s when we've hit 3s in the past. This is something that's happened before. So it was really looked kind of like weird. All right, well, let's keep going, guys. Way more fluid in the second half. Gary said tempers flared at the half, so I'm sure the Brooks thing for them got them going. Yeah, for sure. Well, the tempers that flared at the half were probably Nick Nurse's temper. Just saying, like, you guys aren't closing out right. You guys aren't playing with the right energy. You're not playing with the right hustle, and you're letting them score too easy. And they adjusted, and they did a great job in the second half. I mean, because listen, what they did in the second half wasn't easy. They did 2 different things. They shut them down finally and held them down with their scoring. They only scored like 21 each quarter in the second half. And that was huge because they scored like 30 something crazy, like 39 in the second quarter. And that was a big adjustment. And then the other adjustment was that they went off on their offense because in the first half we had a 44% shooting percentage, and we ended up with like a 50 We outshot them in the end. We ended up shooting 53% from the field by the end of the game. So that means we made a lot of shots in the second half to bring our percentage up like 10 points. That's crazy. So it really was our offense and defense were both clicking in the second half last night. And that's won us the game because that was a big deficit. And they could have easily kept pouring points on us and we would have never caught up to them. But we had the right combination of defense holding them down, the adjustments we made, and then we were able to consistently score coming down the court. And I think part of that is that they are a bad defensive team. We shot really high percentage. Like all our guys got really good percentages except for Pascal. 7 for 11 for Precious, 8 of 14 for Scotty, 9 of 14 for Fred, even 8 of 17 for Gary Trent with that volume of shooting. That's really good. We shot really good last night, and I love that. I love that. Gary Trent just continues to amaze me with his offensive plethora, his different weapons, his different ways of getting the ball to go through the basket. It's just really cool dude. And I love that fire that they showed. But yeah, all right, let's see. Andrew, yeah, you missed the Dylan Brooks thing. It's basically one of these things where Pascal goes to the basket and he gets fouled and he makes a very loud noise. You can hear it on the TV. We know this. We always hear him do that. We're used to it. Well, after he did it on one play in the third, Dylan Brooks started, and I didn't have the volume up. I just was lip reading. I saw him go, he like kept mocking him after when he was going to the free throw line to shoot the free throws. He was going, and that was disrespectful. And I can remember, I saw Fred walk up to him, Dylan Brooks, while he was shooting the free throws and kind of talk to him. And then Gary came over and talked to him a little bit. And then after that, we had a real attitude and a real fight in us that was awesome. And it was so good. These kind of things will pump a team up, whether it's the LeBron fracas with Isaiah Stewart the other night, that got the Lakers going, or this thing that happened last night with Dylan Brooks. It was fuel for our fire, and we went and used it, and we came back and beat them. It's not the only thing that happened, and maybe if that had happened or didn't happen, it wouldn't have mattered, but it was something that happened in the game. And, Dylan Brooks just looked so arrogant and just like an asshole. He just looked like a real asshole last night. John Morant, though, on the other hand, if I can give them a compliment, that kid has some real athleticism. And some of the stuff that he was doing last night is scary. Because when he gets to a point in his career where he actually has some control and more veteran kind of poise, he's going to be a nasty player in this league. Like really, really nasty. He's already a nasty player, but give him some more time. And when he becomes a veteran, look out, Ja Morant. Look out. All right, let's keep going. Gee, I saw them shave 6 points in a game once, then add 5 back. It was weird. I know. There's all kinds of weird stuff with stuff like that. But I really thought that was a point shave. I'm glad Andrew's saying that his toe was on the line and it wasn't as nefarious as they just like said, oh, that's a 2. But I've seen them do that before. Seriously, take 3s away from us and give us 2s. Let's keep going. The flagrant on Gary. Yes. Gee, thank you for bringing this up. That was messed up. Oh, yeah. And that was a ref manipulation to help keep Memphis ahead. They saw that we were coming back near the end of the first half, and that they called that flagrant just to give them an extra chance to get more point cushion at the end of the half before halftime. And that it was effective, and it was such a silly, you can kind of get a body to move just by kind of touching it when it's in the air. But I don't think he barely touched them at all. And he was already moving in that kind of way. And Gary actually held back and really didn't try to get physical with him in the air because, you can hurt somebody if they're up in the air like that. And I think that he was fine. It wasn't flagrant. The contact was incidental and very small. And I thought that was a little bit of an overcall. They might have needed to just call a regular foul on that and not give him the ball also. But, that's what I'm saying. They wanted to give Memphis an opportunity to get a little bit more of a cushion before halftime. It was partly that call there. But, yeah, it wasn't really – he barely touched them. No call on Gary's 3 where he was – they won't call it back the other way for us. It sucks. But it is what it is. I mean, all right. Last night we saw really like I'm glad they started Precious. I'm glad he was there. It's too bad that Kem was a scratch right at the last minute. It's too bad that OG wasn't there, but I thought they started really well last night at the beginning of the game. We jumped on them pretty good right at the start, and the Memphis announcers were saying that, yeah, they've had a problem with not starting well and teams getting good leads on them really early in the game. And that was good. But then when Memphis started really messing us up, like that Bain guy couldn't miss for a while. He was actually perfect from the field for the first half, I think. And then, Dylan Brooks was just really motivated and playing like really tough. And then, they had guys coming off the bench, like the other Canadian kid, Clark, did really well. And Kyle Anderson played pretty good for them, too. They had good weapons, and they scored a lot of points. But you look at our scoring, and, you got Gary with 26, you got Fred with 23, and then you got the other three starters with 17 points each. And they all kind of got to that 17 in a weird, different kind of way. Like Precious, most of it in the third. Pascal on the sly, on the down low, got 17 points by the end of the game. Of course, a lot of them, the points were got at the free throw line for him. And then you had Scotty kind of just doing a little bit of everything throughout the whole entire game. And I love that he's got a half court shot now. Like him and Delano both have half court shots as rookies. And, that should have been a three. If his toe was on the line, I think that other one should have been a three. And, Scotty there was one point where he backed them down and he hit a little baby hook really close to the rim. And I love that. He got to the rim and he was able to make a high percentage shot. And he did it in a key point in time in the game where we needed to keep going offensively late in the game. He just kind of took over and did like, I'm making a basket for sure. And even Pascal, after like Brooks was making fun of him, he kind of made one play where he was like, I'm going to make sure that my shot goes in. He got all the way to the rim and laid in a really easy one. And those are the kind of plays that you really need late. It's like, don't let it to chance. Get as close as you can and really make it a high percentage shot that you're not going to fail making. And Pascal, sometimes he shoots a little too far away from me that I think you can get closer to the basket, Pascal. Go ahead and go there. So, all right, let's keep going. Chriscom, good morning, man. OG should be back next game. Winning streak time. Yeah, they're going to do the Thanksgiving today in Indiana as a team. I hope they give them healthy Thanksgiving food. Don't want them getting bogged down. Don't want them coming into the game looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because they just overloaded. None of this like I'm unbuckling the top button for the Raptors today. Just a very sensible, low-fat turkey dinner with, just a couple of the trimmings that are healthy. I think that would be fine for them because, like, I know people will overeat on this day, and I just hope that they don't do that because we can't have them lethargic tomorrow when they're playing Indiana because we need to close this road trip out with one more win, and then we're 500, and that's fantastic because then we'll be 10-10 after our first 20 games. And honestly, getting to that 10-10, if we can win tomorrow, is really a good, achievement. It's a good achievement considering what we've been through, that we just had our roughest road trip of the whole season just now. So, being 500 when the fact that we're developing and we have all kinds of issues and different things going on with whether it's injuries or just having chemistry problems with like learning how to play with each other. That's really good. We're 500 because we could be like 400 or 300. We could be the Houston Rockets. I mean, come on, let's keep going. Click 2 a.m. Good morning. Great game. Great fight. Indiana is a huge game tomorrow because they're close to us in the standings. I want to be in the top 9 in the East next week, and we better start winning at home. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Indiana is had some success in the last week. They lost to the Lakers last night in a pretty contested game. It's kind of funny. LeBron got a fan thrown out in the middle of the game because he didn't like him. And he's like, that MFer right there out. And they threw this guy and his girlfriend out. And now they get their little 15 minutes of fame. That's not the first time LeBron's thrown fans out. But, yeah, they played them pretty good last night for a while. Indiana was beating the Lakers, but then the Lakers came back and beat them. And then earlier this week, they beat the Bulls. So the Pacers have had good success at different times recently. They're going to be a little bit different than the first 2 times we played them already this year because they're more full strength also. Like they're only missing TJ Warren right now. But I'll do the preview tomorrow for sure, the deep nuts and bolts of it. But it's a very gettable game. We've already beaten them twice. So why can't we beat them a third time? Let's go do it. And then come back home to Toronto And Boston on Sunday, baby. Yeah, Boston. And Boston's struggling right now. They really are. All right, let's keep going. Click 2 a.m. We need to have a statement and a feel good win against Boston. And then that's on Sunday. Yeah. And then we get Memphis again next Tuesday. So Memphis is coming to Toronto next Tuesday. So we're going to see them again. And they're going to want to really kill us after this game that we just had with them last night. Marlon Toby. Yeah, I saw that guy Clark use that floater shot a lot over Pascal. Yeah, that Brandon Clark guy. It's weird that team, they all kind of look like they're brothers. Like, doesn't Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson and Brandon, they all look like they could be all brothers, some of their players. I don't know. But, they're an interesting team, Memphis. They're very young. They're deadly and dangerous in some ways, but they can be got, obviously, because we were the vet team last night that took control and won the pace and the tempo of the game in the end. And that was fantastic. I love seeing that because it could have gone south last night. It could have made us feel real bad about the team that we came back, we held the lead, and then they came back and beat us in the last 3 minutes of the game with some sort of run at the end of the game. That would have been deflating and really tough for us to deal with. But now this is the thing. We beat teams right now. We deflate them to a degree, whether it's Sacramento or Philadelphia or Memphis last night, because people are thinking they're not supposed to lose to us right now just because of the way things are. So we'll see. Kenny, good morning, man. Thanksgiving is about overindulging. I know, but does it have to be for the Raptors? Come on. We don't want them looking lethargic from all the tryptophan, from the turkey. They could fall asleep tonight and sleep way too long tonight and get up tomorrow and be groggy. We need them 100% for the Pacers tomorrow. We need to be really on our ball at the whatever arena they have. There used to be the Conseco Fieldhouse or whatever. I don't know what they're calling it now. They're always just like whoever's the corporate sponsor that wants to own your building is just who they're calling the buildings now. But yeah, we need to beat them and, do whatever they want. They're free men. I'm just saying that seems like, to me, if it's a team meal and they're all eating together and you have a nutritionist, just give them the best stuff. Give them the food that'll help them and it still tastes good and it's still like Thanksgiving kind of stuff. But don't give them any of this fatty stuff, that stuff that's going to make them all lethargic tomorrow. Because sometimes that happens after holidays, games, people come back and they don't look like their normal self. It's partly because they just ate too much. I mean, that's serious. That sounds really simple and stupid, but I've seen guys come back from like holidays and they just look so lethargic and tired. I'm like, what's going on with this guy? What's wrong with him? And I'm like, oh, wonder if he was like just drinking or like eating a lot over the holidays. And he's just like really, you can get out of shape a little bit in one day. Watch. Let's keep going. Pacers will not let us beat them 3 games in a row. If we lose, I'm okay. Wow. I think they really are going to try and get us for sure. And they're going to be more full strength this time. Like Levert's more integrated back into their offense. They've been playing more together, but it may be that we just match up really well and we can play them really well. And we should try and just beat them. I'd like to sweep them this year. And I know that they don't want us to beat them, but you know what? Their record isn't that good either. Our record's better than theirs. And, we need to beat everybody. No mercy, Kenny. They may want it that way, but we don't. And we can try and continue to sweep them this season. I'd love to get a sweep against all the teams in the league, obviously, but let's get one at least through the Pacers. We got 2 of them on there already. Why don't we get the 3rd one? And I think we play them one more time still. So, click 2 a.m. I just hope Nick finds a way to make sure everyone prospers on offense when everyone's healthy. I don't want Scotty's development to be impacted by OG coming back, etc. Last night, it seemed like they were weaving each other's offensive games really well, like in the 3rd quarter. Like, they were picking their spots and nothing seemed to be too difficult. And different people were stepping up at different times. And everybody, was pretty equitable with the scoring and stuff like that. Of course, Gary was more the go-to guy late, but, that could have easily been Fred. That could have easily been Pascal. Could have been Scotty. But they were all kind of picking their spots and they all scored like really well to help add up to the point total that they got. I mean, they scored 126 points last night, and that's really good. And there wasn't really a whole lot of bench help. So that really was the starting 5. They got the bulk of those points. And I think we're going to be okay. I just worry sometimes when we have that three wing lineup, when we have Scotty, OG, and Pascal out there all at the same time, that it's too cluttered and the spacing isn't right exactly. But they really, man, their offense looked a lot better last night in different ways as far as like getting easier shots. And it may be just that the Grizzlies are having real problems on the defensive end for their team. But the offense looked really fluid and like a lot easier. We're getting better shots and making them. And, just a lot of good things happened last night in different ways, especially in the second half. Let's keep going. Click 2 a.m. When Scotty plays well, we always win. Yeah, I think that one of the things is too that Yuta is like a good luck person to have playing, and that in some ways he made me realize last night that the way he inspires energy and does what he does on the court really helps the other guys get going. He is a true catalyst. And that last season, he was doing that a lot for us last year. And that was part of the reason why we had the bit of success that we did last year, was because of that. And I really feel like Yuta is an essential part of the rotation. Like that he is somebody that brings intangibles to the teamwork and the team offense. Even like he just keeps moving on offense, and sometimes our offense has been stagnant so far this year where too many guys are standing around too much, and that's not going to happen if Yuta's on the court. He's as I've said before, he's the straw that stirs the drink, and he really does get things mixed up and moving around, and just even have one guy that's active like that really helps open things up. So there's a lot of really hidden good things. Even if he's not doing things individually with his stats, there's a lot of things that he contributes to around him and inspires in other players. Like I think Scotty played partly more active and well on the boards in the second half because he saw Yuta crash and stuff like that. Like there was that one offensive rebound where Scotty went and got it, and then he missed the putback, and then Yuta came back and got it another time after him. And Scotty was so impressed. He was like really wanted to give him dap for that. And I think that that's part of it, that like, we rebounded horribly in the first half last night. They had doubled our rebounds. We had like 11 rebounds and they had like almost 30 by halftime. There was all kinds of really lopsided stats at halftime last night, but we turned a lot of them around and they looked a lot better by the end of the game, which is a real testament to Coach Nurse making the adjustments and getting his team to execute them and buy into them and do a really good job in the second half. That was amazing. It was really good coaching last night. Okay, let's see. Click 2 a.m. Let's not LBJ. He did the same dance as Fred, but he won't get fined. He did the big balls dance? Really? Okay. Well, let's see. I mean, let's see if he gets fined for that. I'm sure he won't. He already got suspended. Yeah, it's interesting that he just like, yeah, that motherfucker right there, throw him out. This is what he said to the ref. Andrew, where are the Pascal haters at now? Well, they definitely don't watch my channel, and they definitely have nothing to do with me. So I'm glad they stay away from me, because nobody just needs their negativity. Who needs that negativity in their lives? The people, the Raptor fans that dog on our players when they're having a rough slump or having a hard time. You kick people when they're down. People that you love when they're down. It's like your uncle tells you, "Oh, I just lost my job," and you like tell him, you're a worthless piece of crap. Get out of our family. It's like, what do you do? You don't do that. You care about your people and you take care of them. You build them up. You lift them. And that's what I like to do as far as things. I message the Raptors all the time, like on Instagram, like they post stuff. I send messages to Kim. I send messages to Scotty, Chris Boucher. I sent one to Yuta this morning. I said, "I'm so glad you're back. You lift us up." That's what I wrote to Yuta this morning. And, hopefully he'll see it. It's on his Instagram account in the comments. So, it probably is something he'll see. Click 2 a.m. We need to win the games we're supposed to win. Hallelujah. Sing the gospel, Mr. Click 2 a.m. Losing to the struggling Indiana team is unacceptable, even if they haven't beat us yet. Yeah. I like what Kenny's saying in a way, and I understand what he's saying. He's saying that Indiana is going to really, really want to beat us because we beat them twice already. And that's just true. But it could be, hopefully, that because of our team and their team, we match up really well with them. And it's just the same kind of outcome every time, hopefully. That's what I hope for. But it's going to be tough because, once again, it's in Indiana. It's still a road game, although we play better on the road than at home, apparently. And they will have some fire. They'll be a little bit more full strength tomorrow, and they really are going to give us a good effort tomorrow. But you know what? Let's close out a road trip on a high note and get that 500 record while we're gone. I mean, it looked like we may not get it for a long time this whole trip, and now we're starting to see some better stuff near the end here, of course. Let's keep going. Gee, you saw the vet difference in the second half. Yes, you just said it right there. The veteran difference. Like, they have some vets on that team. There's Steven Adams and there's Kyle Anderson. They're really kind of their two oldest players on the team. But, they're not the kind of leaders on the team that they need right now. The leaders really are Ja Morant. And it seems like Brooks is the guy who's kind of helping lead their attitude and stuff like that. And there was really quiet, calm presence of Fred VanVleet. They were talking about it after the game, how Nick Nurse was saying that there were like 5 possessions where Fred really orchestrated our offense, and he had a hand in like our scoring, whether it was passing to Scotty, passing to Pascal, scoring himself. He did like 5 different possessions, different things, different choices, and he had a hand in it all. And that's what we want. We want these guys like Lowry used to kind of shadow hand control the game at the end of the game, whether it's the tempo, like slowing it down or making it go faster, or just like making sure that like the offense is working efficiently so that we score in crunch time to win. And that really is that's very true. That we were the veteran team last night compared to the Memphis Grizzlies last night. But the crazy thing is, this Memphis Grizzlies team, even if they're not a veteran team, they've beaten some pretty good veteran teams already this year. I love that we beat them, and they've beaten so many good teams this year. When we get a win over a team like that, I get a really good feeling of like, yes, we kind of like I know that we didn't really beat Golden State or Denver or these Clippers, but they were teams that they've beaten. So, and we've beaten them. So it's a little logic. It's like, whatever. Kenny, Precious looked nice. Yeah, man. He was aggressive. He wanted his shots. He had open shots. And oh my gosh, thank God he started shooting his 3. And it's funny because they were saying a stat. At one point, he had scored more points in the third quarter than he had scored in his first 70 games in the NBA. Like in Miami. Yeah. He scored more points in one quarter than like the first 70 games of his NBA career. So that's pretty wild to think about right there. And it really kind of does show that, like, even though we got him after 1 year from Miami, he's a very brand new player that really is just scratching the surface. And that kind of an offensive outburst over one quarter, if he can do that, he could be a huge part of our offense at some point. Right now, he's more of a role player and defender and stuff like that. But he could be somebody that ends up being a vital part of scoring for us. And man, like right now, what he does is just extra. And boy, was it extra. And it was really great and really, really timely. Like, I love those shots, those 3-point shots. And I knew he was going to make every single one of them. I was like, yes, Precious, shoot that. They giving it to you, shoot that. And he didn't hesitate. And he made them pay for it. And man, they're going to start seeing the scouting report on him. Because, like, in a way, it's like, don't do it too much because people will realize that he can do it. But, and then they'll adjust. But, man, it was so nice to see his offensive game like that, especially because he struggled with those bunnies all year and different things like that. It's good to see him just get some really good fluid success. And it was and he really was a big part of why this game turned around for us last night was Precious. He was so good. Kenny, Yuta is everything. Wait till that shot comes back again. I know he should have had that corner 3 that they set him up for and they kicked it out to him. That if that had gone in, that would have been huge. He's going to make that shot most of the time. No, I just think he's really important. It's like if Nick Nurse feels like the starters are lethargic or they're not giving the right energy or really putting things out, he's an easy guy to put in and change that real quick. And I'm so glad that he came back successfully last night. And he looked great. He was really energetic. He was all over the place. He had to do a jump ball. It's like there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the game last night. It was really fun. Barnes was so happy he caught the quick pass from Fred and dunked. Fred gets on them and loves that Barnes and gang takes the constructive criticism well. Oh, yeah. He was like gleeful from that. Like it was kind of a half court pass and he was kind of ahead. And Yeah, that was you could see how much he was appreciative of Fred after that play. And that's the stuff that's going to come at more and more and more naturally. Like just think about when they actually really know each other, what kind of crazy plays we might see. Like the really like fun chemistry plays that when they feel more daring and feel like they're connected more, that they can get away and be more risky with different things to try and stuff. Because right now, when they throw these alley oops up for Precious near the basket, they don't look good because we don't really have the timing or the understanding of how he likes to jump and like how to throw it to him. And that's something that will come eventually. We're going to get some really good alley oops all around from all different guys throwing to different guys during the year as it gets more and more synergized, and it's going to be so much fun. All right, let's see. I don't have to go too long today. Let me just go over the box score a little bit, see if I forgot anything. Malachi was really good last night, honestly, guys. I really like what Malachi's been doing out there. There was a lineup out there at one point, guys, and all five of the dudes were energy dudes. I loved it. It was Yuta, Malachi, Svi Mahalik, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam. And that lineup of five was like very energetic, all over the place. Really, like that was an awesome energy lineup. Like to me, like that's one, mark it down in the book, Nick Nurse, that if you want some pep in your step energy, like dogged defense, stealing, getting in the lanes all over the place, everywhere, that's the team. Malachi Flynn, Svi Mahalik, Yuta Watanabe, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam. That team was just energetic and all over the place. I loved it. And there were a couple of combinations that got shown out there last night that were quite phenomenal and very effective to me, at least from what I saw. Also, yeah, Banton was there. He did okay. He made a couple shots. He didn't play a whole lot, and Svi hit 2 3-pointers and got a steal. So that was pretty good off the bench. And, we got 28 points off the bench last night, something like that, 27 points. We could do better off the bench still, but the starters really did play really well. And we shot great from 3-pointer. We ended up getting way more threes than them in the end. They out-rebounded us. They beat us in the paint, but we ended up getting more shots than them in the end, and they were really out rebounding us. Like I said, it was like 30-11 at the half for rebounds, and we really changed that again. Yeah, Nick Nurse did a great job with the rotations. I really like him mixing starters with guys off the bench, and it really isn't like because he's got these guys, he can always have like either Pascal and OG out there or Scotty and Precious out there, or always have two of these really good guys out there, like these multi-tool, talented premium guys at all times. And a lot of teams have to take their best guys out and have lulls where Durant's not out there or something like that, where we can have like a consistent, real good talent base throughout the whole game at a high level of energy too. And I love it. I love it. All right. Well, let me just finish up. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Happy Thanksgiving to people out there. This is really good. This game last night was really, really good. It was a great learning building block for everything. And it was so fun to watch Yuta's press conference after the game. And most of it was in Japanese. Hard to understand, but I'm so glad that he got that shine on him and that he got to come back and have that good feeling of playing. And it's only going to get better. Like in some ways, he really is kind of a spirit for our team. And he brings like a certain like kind of like energy and enthusiasm for the game that not every player in the league has, or they get jaded on it, or they don't carry it with them. It's almost like a little kid in some ways, the way that he treats the game and the love of it and stuff like that. And I love that about Yuta Watanabe. And I really do have to give Precious big props for breaking out of his box last night in the third quarter and having that kind of offensive explosion and showing us what he is possible to do. And it was great for him to do it too in front of a lot of fans and friends of his from his college days and stuff like that. So just a great all-around win. Everybody contributed in different good ways. And I'm excited about Indiana tomorrow. I'd like to finish this road trip with one more win so we get 500, 10-10, and then we'll see Boston on Sunday. Oh, yeah, Boston. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, let's go Raptors. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Beat the Grizzlies. Woo!